Okay, thanks very much. Well, trying to do it twice is going to be very interesting. I think we've got the ingredients here to do it. We've got a great team of people and we've got a great project to base our company on. So, standard reader advisories. Okay, so the company platform. As you can see here, the company is focused on what we now call the Phoenix Gold Project, formerly known as the Cerro Maricunga Gold Project. We decided to change the name because the Maricunga name is used in many different companies and locations in the area. So we decided to pick a name, and Phoenix was the choice. We'll talk a lot about the Phoenix project in this presentation. We're also in Peru with some early stage exploration. We obviously know Peru, we love Peru, I live in Peru. Peru is a place we would love to do business in the future, but we've got a small presence there on the ground in that country. We also like Nicaragua. I know a lot of people probably shudder at that, but Nicaragua is a pro-mining country up until the civil unrest just recently. We find it to be a mining-friendly country. We've got an application in place for 10,000 hectares of ground in Nicaragua. We're also looking at other acquisitions in the country, and we're doing that on a very limited basis, but keeping our ears and eyes open for opportunities. And if you're going to be anywhere in Central America, Nicaragua's the place to be. If we look at where we're doing business on a geographical basis, you can see it there. We've been looking at projects, probably looked at over 60 projects before we acquired Phoenix through the acquisition of Atacama Pacific. We've been looking from Patagonia all the way to Alaska, and we continue to look. Even though we're firmly focused on Phoenix at the moment, we are running the ruler over other projects. We intend to be a multi-asset precious metals company. One of our criticisms at Rio2 was we were one asset company with La Reina for about 4 years before we did the Sullivan transaction. So we intend to change that this time around. So the company highlights: proven management team. Phoenix is one of the largest undeveloped oxide gold resources in the world. It's great to have that as one of our key projects in the company. There's a robust PFS in place. That was the basis of our review of the asset to move on Atacama Pacific, and we found no fatal flaws. The company and the asset is a platform for further growth, and we look forward to that in the near future. And the capital markets credibility from the track record we put together at Rio2 enables us to look at creative ways of financing this company and making sure the project is financed to production. And this photo is a view of our proposed leach pad area, so you can see how easy the terrain is from the point of topography. So capital structure, you can see we're a fairly tight company with about 100 million shares on issue. Management and directors own approximately 30% of the company. 20% of the company is owned by institutions. Van Eck is our largest institutional shareholder with about 13%. And then the other 50% of shareholders are made up of close associates and people that we know. So liquidity is one of the issues that we've got with our story at this time because we don't have a lot of retail shares out there. Okay, so this is the all-important part of the story. It's people. Okay, so the 3 Ps: people, people, people. And what you see here in the first row is the board of directors. Most of these people were involved in Rio2. We have our executive management team who are based in Canada. Jose Luis Martinez, Chief Strategy Officer, Catherine Johnson, our CFO, and Tim Williams, our COO, who are leading the push on the work that we're doing. And then we have the people on the ground. I live in Lima. I'm with these people at the bottom of the slide every day, all day, working out how we're going to do things on the ground. We have probably one of the best technical teams in Latin America, full stop. And I challenge anybody to say otherwise. And the whole team has been involved in the acquisition development of both La Arena and Shahuindo in the old Rio Alto. So this is the Rio Alto story. Created $1.2 billion of value over 6 years. Happened very quickly. We ended up selling the company to Tahoe in 2015. But as you can see there, we started off small. We built out the project, but look at the cash costs. The cash costs over the years stayed relatively low. That's what we're good at. We're good at managing money. Our G&A, the G&A of that technical team is less than $3 million a year. All right, when you compare that to Tahoe today at $50 million a year, there's a big difference. And it's all about managing money properly. And obviously our share price performed according to what we executed and delivered at Rio Alto. The new Phoenix logo, and now we go into the Phoenix Gold Project. So Phoenix is located in a well-established mining district. It's the Maricunga region of Chile. We have approximately 22,000 hectares. We're surrounded by key infrastructure. That green line is a main road that joins Copiapó with Argentina. We have a great starter reserve base of 3.7 million ounces in proven and probable. There's been over 100,000 metres of drilling completed on the project since 2010, and that's the issue. Most of this work was all done between 2010 and 2014. It's been forgotten, right? This is one of those forgotten childs. It's out there, but people have forgotten about it, or they have an impression in their mind of what they think this project is, and we're going to reposition and represent what we think we're going to do with this asset. Pre-feasibility study was completed in October 2014, and a big key to this project is the fact that there's a water agreement in place for water to be purchased from Copiapó, from a water treatment facility in Copiapó. We are not relying on water rights and pulling water from the ground. That's a very important advantage in this part of Chile. So the bottom line is, when we did our analysis of the project, no fatal flaws. If we look at the regional concession map, you can see where we're located. That's our concessions in green. Kinross to the north in the pink concessions. You've got Copiapó along the road to the west. Aguas Chañar, which is the water retreatment facility, is on the outskirts of Copiapó, and that gives you some relativity. So what have we got? We've got a massive outcropping oxide ore body. The key things on this slide, look at the ore body. Red, orange and purple, well, red and purple are high grade, and there's lots of it. So people look at this project and say, you've got 300 million tonnes at 0.4 grams in Chile, that'll never work. Well, this is very analogous to La Arena in Peru. When we built La Arena, we started off with 40 million tonnes at 0.66 grams. For a reserve of just under 900,000 ounces. When it's all said and done, there will be about 3 million ounces sitting on the pad at La Arena at an average grade of less than 0.4 of a gram. What was the secret? The secret was that we had high grade at surface, which is exactly what you see on this slide, high grade at surface. That $700 pit shell, which you see there in blue, which is from the pre-feasibility study, is where we're going to focus the starter project for this asset. At La Arena, we had 10 million tonnes, approximately 10 million tonnes of 1 gram. I can tell you we've got more of that here at Phoenix. And you can see, I don't know if you can read the numbers, but the surface sampling there is very high grade. And if we go to the next slide, you have a view from the air looking down at the surface sampling that was done, and you can see the hot spots. This is all outcropping at surface, the purples and the reds. Okay, so we have a definitive starter project here at Phoenix. So if we look at where we're starting, we have a 5.2 million ounce resource, which includes a 3.7 million ounce reserve. Not a bad place to start. This is open. It's open at depth and to the northeast. The strike length is about 2.5 kilometres by up to 400 metres wide. Finely disseminated gold hosted in breccias, exactly the same as La Reina. At La Reina we had breccias in sandstone. Here we've got breccias in volcanics. And once again, the grade is very similar to the overall grade at La Reina. And the other thing that we were all told at La Reina when we started was, oh, this is never going to work, you're going to have problems with leaching, is because you've got copper in the oxides. We didn't have, and copper hasn't appeared in the oxides at La Reina because La Reina is still performing very, very well. And the same here, negligible copper encountered in the oxides at Phoenix. And if you're a geologist, this is a very important slide to look at, because what we're showing here is where we see a lot of the gold hosted in black banded quartz, which is located in the breccias. So right now, our geologists are relogging all the core because we think that we can do a better job of representing what we believe the geological controls are. And we will be doing a drilling campaign in the starter pit area for the starter project. It's a low sulfidation system. The important thing to know is that all the other projects in this Maricunga region are high sulfidation. So low sulfidation is very unique. And we, once again, negligible copper, sulfur and mercury to depths of 500 metres. They still encounter oxides at 600 metres is the deepest drilling. There's no transitional material, there's no sulfide mineralisation. This is the layout of the project that was recently worked up post PFS, but it shows where the planned waste dump is going to be, where the leach pad's going to be, the pit area in black. We think this layout's pretty good, and we're going to detail this in the DFS. But the PFS imagined 80,000 tonnes a day of ore to the pad, quite a big project, moving nearly 100 million tonnes of material a year. And we've looked at it and said, we're not going to do any of that. We're going to build a smaller starter project. We're going to focus on lower capex. We're going to focus on higher grades, and we're going to also lower the strip ratio. Exactly what we did at La Reina. Exactly what we did at La Reina. This is the water treatment plant at Copiapó, Aguas Chañar, and the water agreement we have will supply all the water required for the project, for the life of the project. Just a little background, Aguas Chañar is owned by Marubeni Corp, who recently bought into the company, and a private Chilean fund. So these guys have got a balance sheet, and they're willing to work with us. We were there a few weeks ago talking to the new management, and very keen to work with us on building this pipeline up to our project. They own the water retreatment facility and are currently building a desal plant which will augment the water that they have and will be able to supply the city and also ourselves. This will definitely simplify the permitting process. And all the capital and operating costs of this water solution have been built into the PFS. So what are we going to do over the next 18 months? We're going to relog the core, do all the surface mapping again, surface sampling. We're going to do 7,000 metres of drilling. We're going to do geotech and condemnation drilling. We're looking at water option study. We're going to see what the best way of bringing that water up is going to be. We've started an environmental baseline. A revised resource will be out towards the end of Q1 of next year. We'll do some more metallurgical testing. There's been a lot of met test work done, but we're going to look at a trade-off between single-stage crushing and run of mine. We're also going to file our EIA next year, and we'll complete the feasibility study. So a lot of news flow, a lot of work to do. Our team's up for it. We're up for creating value again, and that's the basis of our story. I've got some metrics at the end here. I'm not going to go through them. You can go through them. This is on our website. Everybody says they're undervalued. I would agree in our case, but the market determines your value. I can't control the gold price. I can't control what shareholders do, but what I can control is what we do on the ground and how we build this company. So thanks very much.